Genetic Demon, and this is What's on a Tape, Season 8, Volume 4. And this week, I've chosen another game from my friend in Spain, Eduardo. This is... God knows what's on it. There's no data. It's been washed away, actually, by the looks of things. There's something been there, but it's been washed away. It's an international tape, an ITN. I don't think it's like anything related to the UK version of ITN. So, 30 minutes per side, it says. I'm hoping for something interesting and something different. We have had some good stuff. We've had some top-of-soft software. Last week we had a bit of a business run, didn't we? It was a couple of weeks ago we had a bit of a business run with games. It's a look at the draw sometimes. I think it was last week we did the strip poker. I think it was maybe last week we had a bit of a racy time with the strip poker. If you haven't seen it, go and have a watch. It's a bit exciting, really. A bit too exciting, possibly. Anyway, without further ado, though, we're going to stick this in the drive and we're going to see what treasures are hidden within. Right, so we're here. Let's go with the old favourite, load dit or load speech mark. You'll have to excuse my voice today. I've got a cold, and I'm feeling very sorry for myself. Well, actually, to be fair, I've got a sore throat. I didn't sleep very well last night, so yeah, very, very sorry for myself. Anyway, so we've got this international cassette from my friend Eduardo. It's definitely got data on the first side. And that was not a very good start, was it? There was definitely data on the first side. I mean, we got the old lines going, but nothing happening. Yeah, go on for it. Load this one this time. No, it doesn't like it. Do you know what? You know what I haven't done? We'll give it a quick clean. To be honest with you, let's do that. I'll just grab the cleaning tape. 1 second. You stay there. I'll be back in a second. Hang on. Come in. Oh, I feel a little bit better actually since this morning. This morning I did a few videos this morning and I was pretty rough. If you listen to my 20p arcade challenge from which was on yesterday, I growled my way through it in a growly kind of I'm not feeling very well. But this afternoon I'm feeling a lot better. But to be fair, I've had my lunch. And I've got a nice cup of coffee. Got another nice cup of coffee. Can't miss a nice cup of coffee. That's actually probably my third or fourth today. To be fair, a nice cup of coffee. And I decided that I'd go have a bath. So I had a bath and just laid in the bath for half an hour to an hour. I can't even remember how long it was. It was long enough though. I was in the bath for a while, so it was quite nice, to be honest with you, to have that little relax and sort of get back into being more awake. But I'm a bit snotty and I'm a bit sort of in the throat and stuff like that. It's just a cold. None of this horrible pandemic stuff, unfortunately. Well, fortunately. Yes, fortunately rather than unfortunately. I think I'm thinking 2 weeks off would be great, but I don't really want the virus. So but no, it's not. It's nothing like that, I'm afraid. Just the normal. I can still smell stuff. I mean, I've been testing been testing all kinds for ages, and we're all fine. We can still smell stuff. I can still smell the coffee. I can still taste the coffee. So that's the most important thing, of course. Right, come on then. Let's go for it this time. Little clean of the tape. Nope. Right, okay, it's going to go in the other tape drive. I have another tape drive because you can turn the volume up a bit on that. So I'm going to put in the other tape drive right now. I'm going to just switch round. Got my tape adapter so that we can do that. So it's a CD car adapter. That's what it's called. So it basically looks like a tape, and it's effectively a tape head that touches the other tape head that sort of gets you going. So. Right, okay, put this in the drive, put that in there, push the play button on here, fingers crossed we actually get something to work. That wasn't a good start. I was ticking away there like it wasn't going to run, because I put it upside down. What an idiot! Let's try that again. That's better. There we go. So it's on the other tape drive. I've got a little setup now. It's like Starship Enterprise here now. I've got a long desk with all these things on it. Now I'm hoping this isn't business things. Now I have no idea what that is. EKJ, whatever else is. Jump Challenge from Communication Software 1984. This is going to be an old tape. That is cool. No idea what Jump Challenge is. Never even heard of it. I have, however, found a copy. I think it was last week or the week before. We found Jungle Fever. And I didn't have a copy of Jungle Fever, so I've ordered a copy of Jungle Fever just yesterday from my favourite sort of independent retro seller, which is the Retro Cavern. I'll put a link in the description below because If you want some sort of 8-bit stuff, he's got a massive collection. If you've got an Acorn as well, and you want get some Acorn software, he's got loads of it apparently. I wish I actually had an Acorn, and I do. You know, the Acorn Electron. I wish I had an Electron, but I don't. You have to excuse me. I have Eddie Kidd's Jump Challenge. Ah, right, I do remember Eddie Kidd's Jump Challenge. I got sneezes too. Sorry. Bless you in the comments below. But Eddie Kidd's Jump Challenge. Didn't he break like every bone in his body? He's a bit like Evel Knievel, isn't he? Sort of, you know, jumping things. Sneezing. Oh dear. Sorry about that. It feels like it feels there's a lot of mucus going on. It's not nice. Don't listen. Yeah, he was like the English. He's like the English or the British equivalent of Evel Knievel. I had Evel Knievel as a kid. You know, I had a little bike where you could wind it up and it made the wheels spin, and then you pushed a button and it dropped, and it was kind of like wound up to speed. Do you remember those? It was quite large. So it was one of the few sort of Action Man style sort of large figures I remember having. However, my memory might be completely lost. But you had Evel Knievel. And you'd wind this thing up, and they'd let him go, and obviously he'd go flying off things. I have a feeling that Evel Knievel ended up in the river. I think he went out for a day trip once to the river with me and the other kids, and we took him down to the river. And I think he may have done a huge jump into the river, and it was the thing about the river where I used to live was it was quite wide. But it had some very deep, narrow channels, which were always a bit dangerous. You wouldn't want to swim in it because we were always a bit concerned. And as kids, I don't know if it was the adults. I don't think it was the adults that told us this. Actually, I think it was the other kids told us this. But that you could easily be swept away and sort of grabbed by these sort of currents and taken sort of down to the depths and whatever else it is. And we never did. We never really did it. With an occasional rubber ring in it. You know, the old inner tube from a truck tire, that kind of thing. That used to happen. So that used to go down that. A little bit of tubing, wasn't it? Or tubing. That was called tubing. I also called tubing. You know, never realised that it actually meant tubing. You know, with the game tubing. Sorry, where you go down the things. We did it in the arcade challenge recently, and I've got it on a Hit Squad tape somewhere, but I haven't got the full version. And it wasn't a bad game for the Spectrum. Actually, it was just not. It's just not one of those ones that. Oh, let's stop that. Right, one for keyboard. Right, I don't know what the keys are though. Oh. What was speeding up there? Oh, right, okay. BMX, I'm on a BMX. I've rolled down there. Gears. I'm looking for keys now. This is always the problem with the 20p arcade challenge. We never have the keys in front of us. So you're kind of, it's a big guess whether or not you've got the right ones or not. And the thing is, I know I've got Eddie Kidd. Oh, there we go. I am biking like a maniac. Here we go. Woo! Yeah. Curse keys. Do we get some more to jump? Look at him go. No gears though, barrels. I think we just have to practice on the bicycle first. Where are we baking to? Do we just stop now? That's it. Oh yeah, now we're in the motorcycle. Right, is that gears down? Right, got to jump 8 cars. How do I change direction? Oh! Oops. Went a little hard on the old the old accelerator there. Right, so does it matter what button I press on there? No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to matter what button I press. So I bike. 18 barrels. Right, how do I change direction? Ah, A seems to change direction. S for start, maybe. So we're just going to bike up to full tilt here. And he's biking like crazy. I tell you what, if I was biking that hard, I'd be exhausted. Right, so we bike. A seems to change the direction, which is important. Yep. Easy does it. Easy does it. Easy. And we're going to slow down. Right, okay. So now we're on the motorcycle. I don't know how we change gears up, though. Right. Press the S to start. Oh, it's just doing it itself. So it's just one button, realistically. This should be easy. Oh, we've well and truly overshot it, and we're dead! Went far too fast over it. We went far too fast. Well, we've stood up afterwards, though. Don't worry, we're okay. I'm going to have another go at that. That's actually pretty simple. There doesn't seem to be very much to it, to be honest. Right. Press the S to start. Is it S to start or A to start? S to start. And then back, full tilt. This is the easy one, this one. There must be more to it than just 2 buttons. Don't believe that for a second, that 2 buttons is all that's required. Oh, am I going to make it? Yes. So. S to start. It is definitely S to start, right. Okay. So not too much speed. Not as much as we thought it was. About there. Down. Too fast. So there's a certain speed you've got to do it. So it's all judgment on speed, realistically. Not one I've played before. I definitely got in my collection. It's a clamshell in my collection. But I don't remember much about Eddie Kidd. And yeah, it was one of those things, wasn't it? Isn't it weird? I think we probably knew more about specific sportsmen because of games like this. But I don't remember much about Eddie Kidd. I really don't. Not one I remember an awful lot about. Right, okay, so we've had Eddie Kidd. What else have we got on this tape? We're going to see what else is here. That was not a Spanish version, definitely. I'm hoping for more than just the one game. If there's one game on it, that's going to be a very disappointing tape. Nothing more so far. This is bad. Gotta be more than one game on it. Oh. I don't think I'd have used an entire C60 for Eddie Kidd. Oh, I think I hear voices. Hang on. No, I thought I had voices there. I'm hearing voices, I think, is the answer to that question. Right, so, hang on. Is that it? Let's press play on here again. Let's fast forward that a bit. This can't be it. It can't just be Eddie Kidd. Oh my goodness. Well, this is a rare one for this to happen. I know I'm not feeling well, but it's not fair for the tape to stop you all having a good time. To be fair, I quite enjoy doing these videos, so that's making me feel a lot better, actually. So. My goodness. I'm going to give it a good fast forward here and see if we can find anything. Giving it a good fast forward. That's not good. Where are we at on the tape already? Good chunk through it. Right, I'm going to rewind the other side and we'll see if there's anything on there. I'm hoping for more luck than that. Good grief. Eddie Kidd won. That's Eddie Kidd's jump challenge. Right, I'm going to rewind this side and we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. That can't be it. I did find a few tapes recently, which was one with some Spanish music on it, or Spanish songs. There was one of those ones. This is one of the Spanish tapes. Fingers crossed. There's a full second side. Otherwise, this is the shortest What's on the Tape ever. But I refuse to let this be the shortest What's on the Tape ever. If I have to, I tell you what, I'm going to pull down. I'm just looking up to above me, see what I'm going to pull down. I might pull down. You know, the thing, the Hit Pack 6-pack won the vote in the very first episode. But I said we'd get to Horizon at some point, so I might pull down the Horizons tape in a second if that's the case. So we'll give it a try. We'll see if there's anything else on this side. Let's go for it. Fingers crossed. We've got a full bumper side of this tape. So far, we've got nothing. That's seriously bad. I promise you, I checked it. Nothing so far. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh, wow. It's making a horrible noise in the tape drive. It's squeaking in the tape drive. I think. Wow, I can't believe that. Ugh. This isn't very good at all. Right then. You hang on a second, and we'll do this again. 1 second. Hi, I'm Real Genetic Demon, and this is What's on the Tape, Season 8, Volume 4. Well, actually, it's not, because you know fine well that we're going to do this instead. So, it only had one thing on it, so we're gonna move on. So this is the Horizons cassette. Now, the Horizons cassette, it's kind of a special place in my heart. One of which is I love the fact that it's the Spectrum. The 48K rubber key Spectrum was the actual inlay. So that was the first thing. And this came with your rubber key Spectrum, and I don't believe it came with the Plus. A lot of people certainly suggested that it didn't. And this was your starter pack. This was your beginner's guide to ZX Spectrum Life. Also, it was also what lovely Douglas Titchmarsh's uncle worked in the factory where they made these. So it's another side thing. But basically, it's had a side A and it had a side B. And this was kind of your starter pack. This is the first thing I ever loaded on my Spectrum. This is the first thing I ever put onto the Spectrum to try. I went through every inch of this, which is it's a comprehensive keyboard trainer, an entertaining and an illuminating range of bits and pieces. So it gives you the instructions on how to set it up and how to load it. It even says press the K key and press the J key and things like that. And then it's got a list of bits and pieces that are actually on here, the starter pack. So you've got the hardware description, we've got the typing trainer, the cursor movement, the extended mode, the keyword dictionary, and then on the other side we had the games. We had basically the 8 games that came with it, which were Through the Wall, Bubble Sort. Well, I say games, they're sort of educational actually. We've got the whole descriptions here. We'll go through them as we put them in. But without further messing around, and I'll take you straight back to loading this instead. So hang on a second, we'll be straight back. Right, okay, so back again. This time load it again, and we're gonna go with the Horizons tape. So just to see what it is. I can't believe that was so empty. Actually, that's just unbelievable. I don't think I've done that one before. I hope not. Anyway, I may have done. I hope I haven't done that tape before. Anyway, you'll have to excuse me. I'm not feeling well. I think I may have said that a few times. So this is the Horizons tape by Cyan, and it has a large introduction to the software that came with it. Now, as I say, this came with my Spectrum, and I remember finding it in the back at the bottom of the box, and I was really, really chuffed. Now, the funny thing about mine, hang on, has somebody taped over this one? You've got to be kidding. How did that happen? Okay, so somebody has taped over this Horizons, which I thought was a fully complete Horizons. I hadn't never checked, if I'm brutally honest. I have lots of Horizon tapes. I'm not sure where to go with this now. I think we should keep going and see what's on it. So, the script has changed again. So we got VU Calc on here that says so far. This is weird. Right, okay, so this has been recorded over by the looks of things. Somebody has recorded it. They did set it up that way so that you could record over it. The tabs were not pushed out, if I remember rightly. Now VU Calc is effectively a spreadsheet. This is weird. What a game session I'm actually having here. This is a very weird game session. Or very weird what's on the tape. I was expecting it to be something else, and it isn't. And it's... Oh, wow. This is just so weird. We'll carry on. We'll carry on. We'll have a little look and see whether or not I can, we find our way through it all. VU calculator. I wonder if there's anything else on here that's of interest. That's what I'm hoping. There we go. VU calculator. So this is, I've said this before, this is a spreadsheet. So you know, you can put numbers in here. Can we use the cursor keys to move? Yes, we can. There we go. So, AD, and I don't know how you do the sums on it, though. Does anybody remember how to do the sums? To enter a command. There we go. Hash. Where's the hash key? No, not... Yes. Cap shift. Hash. 3. Yeah, don't know. Anyway, but it's a spreadsheet, so that's what it is. We got a spreadsheet before we started anything on the whole thing. Yeah, as I say, very weird. I don't think we've had this. I don't think I'm just checking. I was worried for a minute that we'd done the international tape before. We haven't. We have. I think Eddie. I don't remember ever playing Eddie Kidd on what's on the tape. But I was just double checking there, making sure that it wasn't the case that I'd done something silly. Right. Okay. Well, let's reset this. This is. We're on a magical mystery tour today. Let's reset that. We've done VU Calc. We're back into. By the way, we're back into business products here. We've only had one game. This is ridiculous. The beauty of what's on the tape, but this one was meant to be the actual Horizons tape. I'm quite disappointed, really. It's a beautiful cover. Now, I was going to say about my Horizons tape when I was a kid. Example. Are we back to? Example for VU calculator, maybe? I don't know. This is so weird. We'll have to have a look. We'll have to see what this is. I have to say, I have no idea what we've got here. This is strange. This has been on my shelf for ages, and I just assumed it was a fully working Horizon tape. Clearly not. This is something completely different. Anyway, mine back in the day, when I opened it up, I remember opening it up and getting out of the Spectrum pack, and it was at the bottom of it, the bottom of the polystyrene insert. I remember that, and it was sealed in a plastic case cover. But mine had I'd been misprinted, and I haven't found one yet that has been misprinted like that. They managed to miss out the saturation on one of the colours on it, and the resulting effect was it actually ended up the spectrum looked green. It was effectively like a camouflaged green spectrum, and I've never ever since then ever seen a Horizon tape where it's been printed green. So and of course that's gone now. It's gone. It was sold in a car boot sale along with the Spectrum itself and whatever else is. And that's an example for VU Calc. We've been here before. I think somebody's trying to tell us something here. There's profit and loss things. Adding up the fields. There we go. Anyway, yes, VU Calc. Let's see what else is on here. This is weird. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm wondering if they've got anything else on here. Who would do that? I don't even know where my other copies of my Horizon are, so I do apologise for that. Right, this is back to obviously what was on the original tape. I think. I would think. So what we've missed out on, probably, from looking at this, is the Spectrum hardware components, the ZX Spectrum trainer, and keyboard trainer. We'll find out in a second, though. No, that's bytes for something. Yeah, carry on. Okay. What lesson's this going to be? No. We've got lessons there somewhere along the line. I'm going to fast forward it. Yeah, it definitely says Horizons on it. Side A. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad I found this out. I thought I had a pristine copy of Horizons sitting on my shelf, and clearly not. Let's go for it. Let's see what else we've got on here. What's on the tape can be so random. It really can. You never know what's going to be on here. You never know whether it's going to work or it's not going to work. Lesson 1. What? So it looks like... I'm so confused now. Lesson 1 is the keyboard trainer. Lesson 2. So we seem to have missed the introduction to the explanation of the hardware. So we've missed the kind of big, grand a slideshow of ZX Spectrum bits and pieces. Do you know something? If you're listening to this, you'll be thinking, he's so confused right now. I am. I'm really confused. But the thing is, I'm also thinking to myself, is there another copy of this somewhere in the house that we can see that grand display of whatever else it was? Because obviously VU Calc was smaller than that initial thing. But this should be lesson 1. This should be, if all things are correct, the keyboard trainer. It illustrates how upper and lowercase character letters, including tests. Stop the tape. I have stopped the. There we go. So it has actually got it still on there. It's just missing the first part. So press A to continue. So I'm going to press the A to continue. There we go. Pressed A. I always love this. And sort of drew up the keyboard with the extended mode and the bits and pieces. Do not press break. I'm not going to. Pressing break stops the program and will restart it by hitting run. Right. Okay. Press C to continue. I have. These are the lessons. Typing mode. So let's press L to continue. I like the way it's just making me push random keys on the keyboard to continue. Sinclair Spectrum. Press U to continue. Just any old button. We saw this one a couple of weeks ago actually, and it shows you all of the commands that are wrapped around it. I kind of understand where they were coming from with the idea of doing all these things on the buttons, but it just ended up being a bit convoluted for most people. Use the cap shift to produce uppercut. Yeah, cap shift. So cap shift and H. Yeah, okay. And pressing H gives you yeah, okay. While pressing cap shift gives you E to continue. I love it. Just random keys all over the keyboard. They're just teaching the keys as you continue. Symbol shift. Press the keys, the flashing keys. Symbol shift A. Hurrah! I pushed the right buttons. Test. Here's the test. Press stop to exit. Press the F key. F. Press the S key. S. Ah. There we go. P. D. Do you remember that picture of the kid in the advert where they actually had this on the screen for him? Do you remember that? Do you remember seeing that one? There's an advert with a kid and he's sort of sitting in front of the computer going through this trainer thing. He must have been bored senseless. Because children are usually quite good to pick this kind of stuff up. I certainly was like right into it. I was like, just everything. I was pushing buttons, learning how it worked. Because to be fair, there was nothing you could do. It's not like you could push a button to blow up the Spectrum or anything like that. It wasn't that kind of thing, So is it going to do every key on the keyboard? Because it's driving me down the twist. Press stop to exit. What's stop? I don't think there is a stop button. What are you on about? Or maybe there's a special key for stop. I think I've got it. Yep. By Jove, I think he's got it. Let's move on. Next lesson. Let's have another look at another lesson. See what else there was. They get more and more complex as they go on, clearly. What else we got here? We have, this should be lesson 2, which is the keyboard trainer again, describes the use of the Sinclair keywords, whereby commands can be entered in one keystroke. So it's like pushing the P for the print button and the J for the load button. Oh, sorry for snorting. Still not feeling well. Getting better, I think. I don't know. Throat's a bit raspy. Coffee time, I think. Coffee supping time. Hang on. Oh, I love coffee still. Even when I'm feeling a bit rough, I love coffee. Coffee's brilliant. Loading the lesson. All in basic, these ones. Don't think there's anything more exciting than a bit of basic on these ones. I'm really disappointed though. We've not had a good time with games recently. I thought for a minute that I played that Eddie Kid one, but I don't remember playing it. That's the worst part about it. Oh, there is a bit of machine code in it. There we go. Teeny smidge of machine code. Press the stop bait key. I can't believe somebody's overwritten the beginning bit with VU calculator. Continue. Keywords. So this teaches you how to do the words round it. So what's round those keys? This is going to be very, very difficult on a keyboard like this, but we'll give it a guess. Test. We assume the spectrum respecting. Right, okay. Press stop to end at any time. Press the print. That's P. Print. Correct. Enter if. I think it's an I. Wrong. No. U. Where was it meant to be? What key was it meant to be on? You pressed input. It was U. I knew it. Seemed to be round the keys. U. Somewhere nearby. Why did they put the Sinclair in green at the top of the screen? Would it not have been red? Or am I being pedantic now? Slightly pedantic, aren't I? Load key. Yeah, we all know where the load key is. Enter the next key. N. Next. They're fairly logical. Wrong. CLS is there. Is it V key? Can't remember. Press continue. Maybe V. Yeah, it was V. See, it's just fairly logical, funnily enough, because that continues next to the V, and CLS is next to the V. It makes sense. Wrong. Yes, I know I'm wrong. I'll push the V key. I know. I'm just going bonkers. You pressed enter. You should have pressed CLS. Try again. V. There we go. Let's see what else we got. Rem. That's read. It'll be T key? Wrong. E key. E key? E key. Randomize. T. Yeah, there we go. Rem. You'd have thought it'd been in alphabetical order though, because R is run. So if you go back the way, I would have put randomize on E, and T as well. No, supposed to spell. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, that does it? I don't suppose it matters. Wrong. Next thing. Let's have a look at the next one. Let's go with the next one. Let's do the next program. They all load nicely so far, anyway. That's the next lesson. I'm really disappointed we didn't get the hardware one because it's just this lovely thing about how the Z80 processor works and all the other bits and pieces is there. It's kind of cool, but it's nothing like a bit of randomization to kind of confuse things. I rather like this because this is the tape that taught me a few things about programming. It taught me sort of odds and sods that I kind of used later in life. I mean, some of these interesting things like the evolution of the fox and the rabbits thing was quite a clever life program. I really enjoyed that one. So we had that one, and this is on the other side of the tape. I'm hoping that it hasn't been overwritten with something else. However, it is always a bit of a surprise when things like this go this way. Can't remember this being, so I was absolutely convinced that this was right and everything was on it. No good at all. Tutting away to myself. But yeah, the other side has got through the wall, bubble sort, evolution, life, and draw, and Monte Carlo, and character generator, and waves. All interesting bits and pieces. Taught you lots of things, this thing. I think it was really well done. The idea of actually putting a number of bits in it that you allowed you to see at least the basics beforehand was a great idea. I thought it was anyway. Cursor keys. Upper keywords expected, letter, capitals, capitals, extended mode. Yeah, see, you continue. So the different modes that the Spectrum actually had. Cap shift and caps lock. Yeah. Okay. What's it going to do now? What's it going to ask for? Test. I'm getting ready to test. Current is the L. Same. The current cursor is shown above. Please press the key that makes the cursor the same as the what? Current cursor the same as that which appears in the space. Current. I don't know what it means. Oh right, cap shift. Caps lock? Where's the caps lock? There we go. Make lowercase caps lock off, so it's capitals or lowercase. There you go. I look at this. We're just and make it the lowercase, and then make it the uppercase. Then make it lowercase. Make it uppercase. And make it lowercase. Make it up. Make G graphic mode. Ah, there we go. Make it lowercase again. There we go. And make it current capitals. Oh, it's given. Oh, I'm fully trained. I'm fully trained. Soon they'll be shooting me to the moon in my own space capsule. Oh no! Come on, graphics mode. Graphics mode off. Extended mode. Extended mode off. Extended mode. I wonder if you pass if you keep doing it. You know, like a little test, because I did say test, didn't it? I mean, if we keep doing it, do you think I had to pass? And I tell you what, though, I'm well and truly bored of pushing the button. It's like Daley Thompson's Decathlon without the broken joysticks and heartache and destruction. Daley Thompson's Decathlon. Many a keyboard suffered a death as a result of Daley Thompson. I saw a friend of mine playing. What was he playing? He was playing Hypersports on the Commodore 64 on his channel, and I'll put a link in the description below to my friend over at Zombie Bob's Emporium of Old Tat, which is a fantastic name for a channel, by the way. And he was playing the Hypersports, and I was thinking that it's such a great game. It was great on the Spectrum as well. Really enjoyed Hypersports. I'm getting a bit bored now, though. Have I not won yet? I must have done 200 of these so far. Right, I've won. I've won. Computer loses. Look, computer says no. Right, Harry, on we go. Next one. Next one. This. They're not the most exciting side of the tape. But games are on the other side. Games are on the other side. Exciting games. Hopefully not overwritten with VU calculator. What a time we're having with this. VU calculator. Marvellous. Marvellous. Okay, so this should be Lesson 4, Extended Mode, Entry and Illustration, followed by comprehensive overall test. Right. We're being tested. I'm being tested. Anybody seen the trailer for the new Dune movie? I don't know what to think, really. I've never read the books, however I quite liked the movie, the first one, the one from the 80s. I always quite liked the styling and the art of it, and I thought it looked really good. I don't think it was well received by those people who'd read the books, and I think it was the movie of hell for the director, and I can't remember the director's name actually. It just escaped me there, but it was a movie of a terrible movie for him to make, and he really disliked doing it. And I think it did take like 3 years or something. It was a really long movie to make. But I rather liked it, and what strikes me about the new movie is how much it kind of feels like the old movie now. It shouldn't it? Because it's similar sort of thing. And would it not if it's the same book? I don't know. It kind of struck me that it was very similar. There's obviously some improved bits and pieces. These are the graphics modes. Now you can't even see these on the keyboard here. So you push a button and you've got these graphics that are built into the Spectrum, which were kind of cool. Like actually, they never really got the use they should have done. They were sort of like big sort of square blocky type things that you could use in things. So you got them in on the Commodore 64 as well. I don't think you had them on the Amstrad. No, I don't think they did. But I may be wrong. Right, quick sup of coffee. Try to keep my throat dry. Okay, current is that. Press T. I've pressed T. What do you mean, press T? Oh, got to put in graphics mode and press T, do I? Is that what it wants me to do? Current is L. Press T. Oh, Shift T. Oh, right. Oh, it's like this, is it? This is the test. I'm not even going to get to see the graphics mode. It's just a test of pushing buttons. It's like a comprehensive test of it all. Press the E button. Yeah, okay. Wow. Press the G button. Press that one. Don't know which key that's on. Oh, yep, I found it. Extended mode G. No. I don't know. Symbol shift. It'll be symbol shift. It'll be symbol shift. Yeah, I know. Symbol shift. Oh, symbol shift R. That's right. Yeah, there we go. Symbol shift R. As I say, very hard with a keyboard without the things on it. Press the pi button. Is it on? I don't know. I'll push the I button there. You pressed code. Okay, what should I have pressed? Check the mode is correct. Yeah, I don't know what mode we need to be in there. Extended mode, symbol shift I. Wrong. No idea. Can't tell what's on the keys, you see, so I don't even know where it is. It's not even telling me where it is. I pressed in. Oh dear. Should have been pi. Check the mode is correct. Yeah, I know. I've noticed that. Right, we're going to continue on. Last thing was the keywords. So there was basically once you'd finished all of that, and I remember going through it. I went through it as a kid. I went through the whole blooming lot just to learn about the spectrum. And I don't remember actually. I think I got to the same point here where I'm going. It wasn't the most exciting of bits and pieces. It was the second side of the tape that just was unbelievable. Just it sparked the imagination. It kind of woke you up, and you went, "Wow, these are the things we could do." The dictionary, very exciting. As I say, I'm just really hoping that we haven't got Jet Set Willie on the other side of the tape. It is possible, considering what Voivod had recorded over it. Were tapes that expensive they couldn't afford another tape? I don't think they were. I don't think they were. I don't think there was something you could avoid. You would avoid doing. I thought for a minute there I was finished. Character array file. So this must be the data for the dictionary at the end of the day. We'll just work our way through it. I did like the thing about it is, I mean, I guess nowadays they don't do this nowadays for things. But when the Spectrum first came, the rubber key Spectrum, I remember it was like in a sleeve of its own. You pulled out the sleeve and you had that polystyrene insert that was in there. So it was like with Sinclair embossed on the top of it, or inlaid actually into the top of it. And then on the inside, you had your power supply, you had your RF cable. You had your cassette for this, but it didn't come with an ear and a mic cable. That came with your tape player, if I remember rightly. You had to pay that for extra, wasn't it? And it had that manual, that lovely bright orange manual. Now I had one of an earlier edition, so I had the one with the rings on it. There was like a ring binder style a Spectrum thing. There was that. Also included a teeny little get start guide, which had this lovely sort of I want to call it Bespin style thing, from the Cloud City in Star Wars in 1983. It obviously it's before that, but it had that Bespin style thing, that sort of Cloud City type feel to it. I always thought it was kind of very Star Wars that it had. So mine had that one. It had the little starter guide, which was like a very thin booklet, and then it also had another one which was what Sinclair software was out there, including Horace Goes Skiing. Horace and Spiders. No. Hungry Horace even. I had Hungry Horace and a few other things that were available on the Sinclair Spectrum at the time. There's a little inlay for that. So, but you need to choose. This is just a case of pushing the buttons to find out what they mean. So poke. It tells you where it is in the manual, what keyword enter command. That's what it does. Sets a value of byte addressed to a value n. That's it. You had a lot of pokes back in the day. You used to poke them to make games do certain things when they loaded, didn't they? Do you remember that? Entering your pokes in so that you got bits and pieces. Draw straight or curved lines from point to point. Very exciting. Chapter 17. Now I got a copy of the original manual attached somewhere from one of the Spectrums that I got ages ago, and it wasn't quite the same, if you know what I mean. It was actually a not hardback, but paperback with a sort of rather than the ring binder feel to it. So for me, it's that I lost a little bit of nostalgia there. I know that the ZX Spectrum Next, they're putting in those ring style binder manuals in them, which I think is a really nice touch. I have to admit, there's quite a few things there that are really nice touches from on the new Spectrum. It's and it looks very old school. It looks very much like the thing that it should look like. Side B. This is the menu for it. I didn't even remember a menu being on there. This is Side B. We've got Through the Wall, Bubble Sort, Evolution or Foxes and Rabbits, Life, Draw, Monte Carlo, Character Generator, and Wave. So one thing we missed out on is the hardware thing. Oh, look, it's got its own little loading screen. Oh, do you know what? I would have probably been absolutely, watching these graphics. I mean, it's a bit like the internet of the early 90s. You know how the pictures would start appearing and they would be like small chunks at a time, and then they started doing these sort of filling them in after you obviously loaded up onto the internet in the first place. That's kind of feel it had with it. So I'm assuming this is going to come to a menu, maybe. Look at that! It's using the full palette there, isn't it? Oh dear! I've stopped the tape. What do you want me to do? Press the key. Oh, there we go. And it just tells you about table of contents. It's really stupid because you're just going to load it anyway, aren't you? So, press the key to continue. I'm pressing the key. Arises as an introductory cassette written by Cyan for Sinclair. The programs on this cassette are largely written in BASIC to illustrate some of the things that you can do. Substantive machine code programs from Sinclair from Sinclair by Cyan will allow you to apply the Spectrum to its full capability. This range includes a serious business type applications and games, both intellectual and not so intellectual. Why are games not intellectual? Oh right, this is actually saying about VU Calc here. These are things that they sell. This was in it as well. I remember that. There was that picture of that 3D thing from VU 3D. A general purpose program for filing databases. That's the VU file. VU Calc is for constructing spreadsheets before they even knew the word spreadsheet, I think, there, for budget analysis. And then the VU 3D, which is to do with three-dimensional images. I've got Flight Sim, Chess, Hungry Horace. There you go. These are all things that appeared in that manual. Exactly that. Beat the chess games. 10 levels to beat. Planetoids, Space Raiders. Space Raiders, brilliant, by the way. I still love Space Raiders. It's just Space Invaders, but it's blooming brilliant. Successive waves of 55 aliens. Ooh. Right, for start one. Here we go. So this should be Wall. This is Through the Wall. I remember Through the Wall. Through the Wall is one of the first. It's probably the first game I ever played, and I can't remember what the controls are. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is. Oh, they've actually got some instructions. Let's see if we can read the instructions. The classic game using bat and ball. Try and knock the coloured bricks out of the wall, and to gain maximum points. An interactive, real-time program that demonstrates the speed, colour and graphic capabilities of the Spectrum. The program is written in simple BASIC and illustrates how you can write your own games. Amazing. It did actually, because I was quite impressed by this, and to be fair, they're lying a little bit because there's a little bit of machine code in there. Teeny bit of machine code in there. I think that's for some of the rendering of the large sort of graphics and things like that, like these text here, which is the one. Now I can't remember what the keys are, but I think they're oh, there they go, OMP and caps is for extra shift. We've done this before. Oh, I remember that being annoying. And it always bounces at 45-degree angles as well. We did discuss this in the previous video where we'd seen this. It's a tad too fast for basics, so some of this is machine code. Especially the interaction of the keys. Good old bat and ball. Don't see many nowadays. There's I've played one not so long ago called Grey Spaces, and that's a bat and ball, but it's not brightly coloured like the Acronoids of old. They were very popular back then. I'm sure with the sort of advanced sort of graphics and capabilities now, you could really well emulate a ball. And I haven't seen a new bat and ball game, not for a long time, not since the 16-bit generation, if that makes sense. It's some early sort of MS DOS and Commodore Amiga and Atari ST things. You got a few there, didn't you? Acronoid being the massive one. Mind you, I'm slying it slightly. I have seen one since then. There was a new version of Acronoid made for the DS. In fact, there's a couple of variations of the Bat and Ball theme on the DS, the Nintendo DS this is. They've got a couple of variations on it. I used to be quite obsessed by this. It completely lacks sound, obviously. It would be nice if it had a bit of sound, but other than that... Okay. Boink. 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 Boink, boink, boink. You just get it on top of there and then you just let it go. Same with Acronoid. That was the thing with Acronoid. I haven't even moved, by the way. I'm just sitting in the same spot. This is annoying, though, because there's a certain point where you're going to have to bounce into the wall to do certain things. Doink. But because it does this right angle movement on it, it's quite hard to get it to bounce where you want it to bounce, if that makes sense. Very limited on its movement. Yeah, you tend to do this. You start ending up going, because you sort of the way you kind of hit it, you end up starting to send it into not the directions you want, and you get a bit of zip on it, and then it just comes back to exactly the same point because it just bounces in these 45 degrees or straight up, and that's it. There's no real way to make it do something different very easily. So see, I mean, I'm missing everything. If the ball moved a little better, you might not miss that kind of stuff. Yeah, it becomes quite difficult at this point. It's a bit of a flawed game that way. It's not bad though. It's not bad. I'm going to push the brake button. We'll have a little list. I used to quite like it. As I say, there's all the controls. As I said, there's a little bit of machine code in there. A little bit of poking that goes on in there. But otherwise, quite a good game. Right, let's load the next one. I actually probably one of the few people in the world who actually liked Cassette 50 because you could actually edit the games yourself to change the graphics to do whatever you wanted to do with it. So I know it's got a bad reputation, but to be fair, what was it, £7.95 I think it was, and you got 50 games, varying standards of whatever else it is. But I really enjoyed just editing them myself and making alterations to them, and just changing the graphics. Making the one that was Frogger, much better version of Frogger. Really like that one. I've got a couple of copies of it actually. I've actually kept both copies of it because I quite like Cassette 50. Or 50, Cascade 50, isn't it? Is it Cascade 50 or Cassette 50? I'm looking above my head to see if I can see it. I can't. I think it's buried behind Strip Poker. Bubble Sort. This is let me read the instructions while it's loading. Let's have a look. This program illustrates how the computer can sequentially sort a randomly ordered set of objects in an interesting and amusing example is a bridge hand. Who plays bridge? Anybody know how you play bridge? It's blooming one of those things that was such an 80s thing. Everybody played bridge. Seriously. I'm not sure. I think bridge was a cover for something, you know. I think these are like swingers clubs or something like that. I think that's bridge was a thing for. But a hand of 13 cards played, dealt green. Oh God, beige table. The program demonstrates how to consistent pairs of cards are gradually. I have no idea how to play bridge. Sorting algorithms applied to hands of cards. Right. Okay. Oh, here we go. It tells you what it is. Algorithm passes over, comparing neighbouring items, or swapping over the. I'm already bored. It's going to compare. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, I think I remember this being as a kid going, I don't care. It's calculating. Oh, get excited. Calculating bridge hands. As I say, I'm quite sure that this bridge was a euphemism for swingers clubs, because lots of people going along, married couples, did they throw the car keys in the centre? I'm only speculating. If you play bridge, I do apologise. And do you have to throw your car keys in the centre? Oh, look at this! Oh, it's so boring. I don't even know what it's sorting and why it's sorting and what I'm sorting for. And if you were going to be playing bridge and you had the computer doing it on the screen like this, would that not be a giveaway for somebody else? I mean, it's not like Snap, is it? Look at it sorting it. Look at this early AI. It's like HAL 9000 in 2001 AD. Later I'm going to go outside and beat a monolith to death. Or do I have to beat another monkey to death? I can't remember what I have to beat to death, but I have to beat something to death with it and discover fire. Are you impressed? Have you been bubble sorted? I was just having a sup of coffee. That was really nice. It's a bit cool now, but that's it. So it's kind of sorting... What's it sorting them into? Pairs? It seems like a very slow program to sort into pairs. What are you doing? I don't understand this. I don't understand what it's doing or why it's doing it. Pressing the brake key. And we'll load the next one. Let's give it a new and let's load the next. Next one. Let's hope this is a little bit more interesting than that one. That was a confusing one, wasn't it? Okay, the next one's Evolution of Foxes and Rabbits. This program lets you show a simple basic program, a complex mathematical seek equation that is solved even on a microcomputer like the Spectrum, such as nonlinear equations applied to problems in science and engineering. Examples are the introduction of ecological balance between two species, so foxes and rabbits. Basically, if there's enough foxes and rabbits, it brings it to a balance. So the computer calculates the balance. So if there's like two foxes, obviously that's a pair, a breeding pair, and there's 20 rabbits. Those foxes eat really well, and obviously breed significantly to the point where they achieve a balance basically between eating the rabbits, where there's lots of rabbits because the rabbits are breeding like rabbits, obviously, and the foxes are breeding like foxes. So I don't think that's quite the same thing, but you know what I mean. And they ecologically sort of come to the same sort of balance. And I just remember you've got to enter the details in it. I think my aim was always to make sure that one species died out on the other. It was like Sim Life, but the early version of Sim Life, if you ever played that, by Maxis before it got eaten by EA, unfortunately. Okay. Mathematical calculation. We just read that, didn't we? Read that ecological thing. Imagine a land area populated by two species, say rabbits R and F for foxes. Rabbits' increased birth rate is OCR. Rabbits are killed by foxes. Foxes times rabbits. Right, okay. Foxes increased by birth by foxes and die starvation divided by whatever else. Over time, I don't know what this mathematical formula. The rabbits' population increases by R and foxes by RF. Yeah. A, B, C, D are constants. Okay, whatever. The solution depends on how many initial conditions are. For example, the following initial conditions of rabbits, those initial number of foxes is press any key for the spectrum to solve the problem in time. Right, it's going to solve the problem. It's solving the problem. Too many foxes, the foxes are starving. So the foxes die off a bit, and the rabbits are there. But you'd have thought the rabbits would have bred. No, they are breeding slowly. And the foxes are going down. Down, 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 because there's too many foxes. The foxes are starving. How many blooming rabbits do they need to eat? Few foxes, rabbit colony grows. Yep, that would be right. So the rabbit colony's going nuts. It's up to 12,000, 13,000 rabbits. Those foxes are crap foxes, by the way. They can't catch 17,000 rabbits in a small area. Oh, hang on a minute. The foxes' colony's growing because the rabbits are going rampant. They're finally catching some. They scoffed a few. I'm surprised, though, at 2,400 rabbits initially that wasn't capable of doing that. We're up to 45,000, 46,000 rabbits. Foxes are slowly increasing. There's plenty of scoff for the foxes. Foxes are going nuts. They're having a great time. Many rabbits, food for foxes. There we go. Fox population grows. I bet it does. But it's a curve that matches. I mean, I'll do the math for you here. Realistically, although it might pop up and down, realistically, they're going to be almost sort of a matching curve. You know, as the foxes get higher, there's going to be a point, of course, where the foxes are too many and the rabbits are going down. Look at that. The foxes are scoffing so many rabbits. The rabbits are in deep trouble now. There are too many foxes, so it's going to go up and down. There's a point where they're matched together, and then one of them's going to dip. And in this case, there's far too many foxes. The rabbits are absolutely going nuts. Foxes are going nuts. There's a deep starting to be a deep cut off. Foxes are short of food now, and there's a deep divide there. The foxes are going down. The rabbits will come up. Look at this. The foxes are on a mad die time because they just bred too much, and they ate too many rabbits. Too many rabbits for dinners. The rabbits are starting to increase again as the foxes die right off. The cycle repeats every 6 years. So there it goes. It's the same thing. Too many rabbits. Get the food. The rabbits have got the nicer curve of the whole thing, though, if you think about it. You know, the poor old foxes die off quite rapidly, unfortunately, due to starvation. And they're right down low now, and then it's going to turn around shortly and go back up again. Because there's going to be plenty of rabbits again. Look at all the rabbits. They're going back up again slowly. It's the same curve. It's the same curve that we started with. They're going up. The foxes have gone down again, and they are starting to head back up again as the rabbits breed to the point where they got 200,000 again rabbits, and we're way again, right at the top end of the rabbit breeding season. There we go. Clever, isn't it? Sorry, bit of a dry throat there. Yeah. And then the rabbits, the foxes are going to go up on a steep increase shortly now because there's plenty of rabbit food out there. Or plenty of food for rabbits. Steep increase. Here we go. Come on. Not as steep as last time round, I don't think. Or maybe it is. Yeah, it is building. It's building. The rabbits are now getting eaten again by the foxes. And we're dipping off again. Same point. They literally hit the same point. Foxes go up, foxes go up, foxes go up, foxes go up, foxes go up. They eat. Crazy eaters. And 6-year cycle goes down again. Worst thing to be born is a fox during the middle of at the end of the 6-year cycle, isn't it? Realistically. But you can change the initial conditions. No, stop. Okay, start the tape. Oh, it just wants me to load the next one. So let's load the next one. So, on to the next thing. And the next one is Life. It's turned out to be quite a long video, this one. I was expecting it to be a bit shorter than this, to be honest. But I was expecting more than just Eddie Kidd on that tape, to be honest. Life, a machine code program that gives a fascinating and amusing amusing patterns in time to describing the growth and evolution of an imaginary colony of beings. life. Time to get some more drink. That was a TV program, wasn't it? Was it called This Life, wasn't it? You remember that? The 90s thing? Sort of household in London. It was a bit funny, really. It was of its time. Oh. Yeah, sorry about the cold. Caught me by surprise as well. Right, stop the tape. What have I got? What have I got there? I've got an empty cassette case. Yeah, okay, thoroughly confused. I've got an empty cassette case and I don't know what it is. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, I do. Hang on. Right, okay, so, press key. Okay, the rules. The board is divided up into square grids. Each square has 8 neighbours that can either be alive or dead. Each generation has a number of n neighbours and decides whether life will begin 2 or 3, not greater than or whatever else is 2, 3. Right, okay. Okay, set up the initial thing with the cursor keys. Generation delay between generations in seconds. 2 seconds. I got to use the cursor keys to set up the generation. Use the cursor keys and shift to set up. So these are like the life. So this is the cells. Have you ever seen these things? It's like cell cultures in a petri dish. You know, this is what this is all about. Sort of a cell culture and petri dish type thing. And you basically you're generating sort of that kind of thing with the rules relating to this petri dish of bits and pieces. So just make sure we've got plenty of them. Plenty of them. Make sure it's interesting. And press Q to commence. Yeah, we'll do that in a second. Make sure we've got plenty of cells on here, so we'll draw some lots of cells on here. But you can imagine this blew your mind, you know, that the computer was able to do this. And this is them calculating now. Then what happens is they will reduce in numbers and increase in numbers until they become stable cell colonies, which is usually 2 or 3, or specific other connections, and they die off otherwise. So every 2 seconds they're changing. Very exciting. But as I say, you can imagine back in the day, we were quite impressed by this. We were quite impressed by the whole thing. I quite liked watching it. I thought it was quite cool. Let's see if we can It's not stabilising yet. I would have thought it would have been stabilised by now. We'd have got a few more stable cell cultures. I've maybe put too many on. We used to let life go until the point where there was nothing left on the screen, bar the cells that were locked in place, or the colonies that were locked in place. There's a lot of it's getting down. It's reducing down slowly. We're getting there. I think we've got a stable one there up in the top right hand corner. It looks like a stable colony. It's achieved whatever it needs to achieve to not change. There's another stable colony formed there to the left, middle left. I knew that would be a stable colony because of the shape. And then, as long as nothing crashes into it, they'll stay stable. That's because every 2 seconds I've got the change going on. We'll see if we get any more stable colonies. So those 2 stayed. They've kind of held off breaking apart. so far. There's another stable colony there. In fact, there's a couple of them. Do you see them in the centre there? They're just on the right hand side downwards. There's a stable colony there. There's also a more interesting colony down in the bottom right hand corner there that swaps between. It's got itself in the maths of that colony has got them two things swapping together. Kind of interesting, right? So we've got another one swapping in centre. That's it. That's the end. Those are all stable colonies. Well, I say that's stable. There's two there that intermittently swap, but that's it. That's life. Isn't that exciting? S to stop. No. Q to load the next program. And we'll press Q. Start the tape. Draw. I remember this one. Always getting a bit of drawing a program, right? A substantial. Oh, I can't read. My brain's gone blank. Sorry, I'm getting a bit bunged up now. Graphics capability of the ZX Spectrum with the aid of cursor keys and simple commands. You can draw complex diagrams. So this is draw. We've got Monte Carlo to go. We've got character generation and waves, which will be just about enough, if you ask me, for this session. Sorry about the losing the bit at the beginning. I had no idea that somebody had overwritten the beginning of the tape with VU Calc. It's very odd, actually, as well. It just seemed to fit the right amount of space as well. Unless it was a factory defect. It's possible. Oh, sorry about snorting. Right, okay, use the cursor keys and press the X button to do that. Crosswire across there. Press the J to enter the number of pixels across the crosswire, yeah. Draw, B, horizontal, quit program. Paper colour, 5. Ink colour, I don't know, 2. Hey, so, and then if we press the, was it shift? Oh, I missed the key. There's a key there. I for instructions. Shift. Shift key. It is shift key. Alright, that moves there. And then I think we can draw with L draws the line. Wow, this is so complex. Look. How complex is that? It's so slow as well. It's not one of the better programs on here. We've drawn a star. Very exciting, right? Cue to quit. Start the tape. Let's do the next one. Monte Carlo. Yeah, not very exciting, that one, really. Monte Carlo is illustrates the study of how statistical events can be recorded and demonstrated on a computer. The program builds a bar chart or histogram of a distribution of a number of pairs of dice, where the chances of throwing, what are the chances of throwing a 12 or a 7? So basically, it's the equivalent of card counting in Monte Carlo, but without any card counting and without actually being in Monte Carlo. And can you imagine dragging your Spectrum into Monte Carlo, Mr. Bond? You can't put your CRTV TV there and your ZX Spectrum. Yeah, I don't think it would have worked, do you? Anyway, Monte Carlo. Any key to continue. Yeah, rand function. Yes, I know. Observation of rolling dice, and it just keeps rolling dice and draws the histogram at the bottom. Look, should be a lot of 7s, to be honest with you. The mathematics of it should say there's more 7s than anything else. 6 and 7s, 6, 7s and 8s. Easier making combinations. And that's basically it. There's a lot of throws until it gets it. It doesn't throw a 12, interestingly enough. You'd have thought it would have thrown a 12 by now. Nice use of the Spectrum graphics, though, for the dots on it. You'd have thought there'd been a lot more 7s than that. Very, very interesting. The randomization there. Spectrum randomization at its best. On we go. Very unexciting. It's been a long time since I've seen these, and I can't. I mean, I do remember them all at the time, actually, to be fair, but not so now. Next one's character generation. One of the most unusual and powerful features of Spectrum allows the user to define their own character symbols. This is a small program that sets a large grid, and you can basically it's basically creating computer graphics. So it allows you to. It's how we do the graphics in the Spectrum. Spectrum's graphics are based on 8x8 squares. So you create these 8x8 squares. For instance, if you take good old Jet Set Willy, he's 2 8x8 squares, 16 tall by 8 across. And it's how you get animation out of it, because of the fact that it was all character sets rather than sprites. You use the character sets to generate them, so these 8x8 squares would allow you to create your graphics that are on the screen. So that's what this is, effectively a character generation thing. I don't think it allowed you to save it. It would be more useful if it allowed you to save the code out for the creating those character sets. That would, I think, would have been a much more sensible and more useful option. But this allows you to do that, so that's what this is. Character sets. Yeah, so they're character codes. But you see, like, like the life one there, and the ones for other things, it just allows you to basically change them. So oh, you can save the characters on your tape. Oh, there we go. You can save the characters. I apologise. I mean, I did not realise you could do that. Peter, pick a character. Let's pick J. So it'll give us the J key, and it'll allow us to define that in our own way. Alter pattern, and then we should be able to use the cursors. Use the arrow keys without the cap shift to move the cursor about the grid. There you go. And we basically create our own character here in the whole thing. And this is how you create your characters, in just making your sort of randomized characters. Handy little utility back in the day. So there you go. Q to quit. And that's the new J key, would look like that. And that's it. All there is to it. Good, innit? Last program. Start the tape. Very last one. Waves. So what's waves do? Let's read waves. And I think this is just like, it's literally a one-liner. Demonstrates the phenomena of beating in music and elsewhere. The phenomena of beating in music and elsewhere. I don't know what that means. Anybody know what that means? Beating in music and elsewhere. Beating's like in inverted commas, you know, those sort of beating. Beating what? So there must be the music generator part of it. We actually haven't, to be fair, there wasn't an awful lot in the way of music generation on this. There's not been any music so far. To be fair, the Spectrum was very limited. It had this little beeper, and there wasn't an awful lot that was really generated by it until later in sort of its later life, when it got an AY chip, I think is correct. You correct me in the comments below. You know you will. Here we go. Last on the tape. Beating of waves. And I'm not sure why we're beating waves, but we're going to push a button and see what happens. Beating of waves. 2 waves may be added together to form a third one more complex. And frequencies. Oh, it's not even what I think it is. Would you like an example? Yes, I would. Oh, it's not even what I thought it was. It's sine waves. It's the adding of sine waves together. It's a mathematical formula for sine waves. I know. Do you know what though? That a lot of this has, apart from through the wall, A lot of this has, Sir Clive Sinclair written all over it, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of business sort of orientated approaches to things here. Business, programs that you could call business at the end of the day. Use this for scientific purposes. Use this for calculating and sorting and whatever else. And the actual game element of it was pretty much through the wall, and that was it. And they didn't want you to use the Spectrum. He didn't want you to use the Spectrum for gaming. And I think he was quite surprised when people did use it for gaming because it was cheap and whatever else it was. So there was the kind of... I remember this filling it in. It was kind of cool. I don't think he wanted people to use it for gaming, and because he didn't want to use people for gaming, I think when they built this initial tape thing, they didn't kind of do like a combination of games or whatever else. It was all sort of scientific and sort of, educational all at the same time, which of course a lot of Spectrums and 8-bit computers were sold on that concept. That was what they were sold on. So, that's pretty much 4, 3. That's the smallest wave ever. I should have done higher frequency. So we got that. Wave 2, amplitude 4, frequency 40. So this is a really sharp one like that. Really sort of high wave. When they add together, there won't be much to that. And then it adds it together and then smooths my wave into it with whatever else it is. I should have made them higher amplitude-wise as well, but never mind. Actually, you see the smooth curve of the other one going into it. But as I say, it's more educational than it was gaming. And this has been another educational video rather than necessarily a gaming video. I must find a better tape next time round. Thank you, though, for spending the time with me, even though I've been a bit sickly. But I've enjoyed it, and I'm pleased to have your company. So you stick with me. There'll be another episode next week. Hopefully, I'll be much better by then. Anyway, I've been your host, Real Genetic Demon. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye now.